This is Brandon Despia. Thank you so much for watching the channel and having conversations with me about branded Despia. In today's video, we're going to be discussing a new card that will be released in the upcoming structure deck, The Fallen and the Virtuous. The card's name, The Fallen and the Virtuous. We're going to discuss this card, its effects, break it down, and then question whether or not we're going to be using this. If you do like this content, if you do like the video and you have other questions, I would love to hear from you, but please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. The Fallen and the Virtuous is a quick play spell card that is always treated as a branded and dogmatica card. The first thing we notice here that this card is very similar to Guiding Quem, in that it can be searched through dogmatica and branded effects, or the effect of something like Aluber, the Jester of Despia. You can also send it to the graveyard with Guiding Quem, the Bestial Serenir, and search for it with Spriggan's Kit, which makes it an in-engine board-breaking card. You can see the highlighted text, send one monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from your extra deck to the graveyard, then target one face-up card on the field, destroy it. Now let's talk about that first effect. This sends an extra deck monster to the graveyard. It does not require an additional cost to do this, which is absolutely amazing. Similar to Branded in High Spirits in a way, but better in your hand economy. This board breaks and sets up your end phase for additional disruption or additional advantage with getting branded spells or traps, depending on whether or not you're using Titaniclad or Albion the branded dragon. Also note that this card allows you to target any face-up card on the field, including yours. What this card effectively does is take the place of Book of Eclipse in many players' decks. Book of Eclipse, as you know, is a quick play spell card just like this one, and can be used to board break on your opponent's turn, or help defend against your opponent's targeted negation cards like Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler. For example, if I activate the effect of Aluber to search for Branded Fusion, for example, and my opponent tries to negate it, then I can use the Fallen and the Virtuous to send my Aluber to the graveyard, dodging the negation, while also getting my branded card and setting up extra plays during the end phase. And what you can do if you have a High Spirits in your hand, now you can use the High Spirits defensively on your opponent's turn, because you can use Fallen the Virtuous on your turn to send Titaniclad, get Quem on the board, send Albaz to the graveyard, and now you can use the set High Spirits defensively to get let's say a Mercurier to your hand, while also getting Albaz onto the field to board break. This is absolutely amazing. This opens up different ways to board break your opponent, and it's all an engine. This is very interesting. This is almost like Book of Eclipse meets Branded in High Spirits in a way, but it is a destruction effect. Very, very good. Now the second effect requires an Ecclesia monster. It says if you have an Ecclesia monster in your graveyard or field, you can target one monster in either graveyard and special summon it. So a quick play Monster Reborn, essentially. This is pretty good, especially if you're going to be running something like the Stigmata Devouring Dragon, which does require an Ecclesia to have its Towers effect. The good thing about this is, while this can come up in these situations, you don't necessarily have to build your deck to activate both effects. They're both really good effects, although the first one is arguably way better. I can see this being ran in 2 or 3. 1, I don't know. It depends. The way I see it is, this would, if you were running some board breaker cards in your main deck, like Book of Eclipse, I think this totally replaces Book of Eclipse and allows that card to be put in the sideboard for you, because of the simple fact that you can search for this in engine. This makes it very accessible for branded players. I'm already building my deck in a manner to where I'm relying mostly on engine, because I'm running a 60-card build, for example. I want to be able to search through engine or through Triple Tactics Thrust in order to mitigate the fact that I'm running a 60-card deck. In this scenario, I would run 2 to 3 copies if possible, because I can search for this whenever I want. Ash Blossom does not deal with this card, because we don't send a monster from the deck to the graveyard, we're sending a monster from the extra deck to the graveyard. Now, they could stop the secondary effect if you're sending something like well, the passive effect, essentially, the hidden effect of the Fallen the Virtuous, because you're sending probably a Albion the Branded Dragon or a Titanic Lad. That's fine. Although, let's be fair here, if you're running a branded deck and they know it, they're probably not saving their Ash Blossom for that. Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, another card that's being commonly played in this current meta, doesn't stop this card's effect from happening. Adding a card from the deck to the graveyard, from the graveyard to the hand deck or extra deck, that doesn't happen. None of these effects happen. So this also gives some interesting hand trap resilience. They could have easily made it so that a hand trap could stop it. And I don't recall any hand trap that deals with this specifically. Except maybe this one, which is only a one-of. Obviously, Microcosmos-like effects will stop this card from happening. You have to be able to send an extra deck monster to the graveyard. And if you can't, then obviously you can't use this card to destroy a card on the field. Herald of the Arclight can't do anything about this, because it says any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished instead. It does not mention the extra deck, which means if you're playing against Yummy, this forces Herald to use its effect. That's actually ridiculous. And because it says negate the activation, you can use a second copy in your hand. So this easily takes care of the Yummy's one Herald of the Arclight. Absolutely insane. In conclusion, I do believe this is a very powerful card. And this solves one of the issues Branded had for a long time, which is an in-engine way to deal with spells and traps. But they made it even better by saying you can use it on any card on any side of the field as long as it's face up, while also keeping to the theme of Branded, allowing it to send extra deck monsters to the graveyard to further our board breaking or recursion abilities during the end phase. This is an absolutely stellar, amazing card. I would not just run one, I would find a way to run 2 or 3. And if you are running cards in your extra deck that are non-engine, like Book of Eclipse, for example, I'd say replace those 3 with 3 of this, and then put those Book of Eclipse into the sideboard, or just use something else in the sideboard to replace it, something, in, for example, that cannot be responded to instead. Well, that's my take on the Fallen and the Virtuous. I will definitely be making a deck list that runs 3 copies of this once this becomes available. Be on the lookout for that. I would love to hear your questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and have a wonderful day.